What's up, everybody? How you doing today? Coming to you from Oak Grove, Missouri. We're still sitting here at the Oak Grove 70. Well, we're actually across the street at they have a hotel, but the Oak Grove 70 is just across the street. We're still waiting on our Kansas permit to go deliver this piece, but we aren't supposed to be there until tomorrow, so gonna sit the rest of the day and then leave out first thing when our Kansas City curfew lifts tomorrow. So anyways, something that I get asked to do a lot is talk about securement, and I'm a little bit apprehensive to do it because it opens you up to the internet warriors coming out and telling you that you don't know how to do your job, and it also opens you up to criticism from just anybody you know at the corporate level or other drivers that see your stuff. But at the end of the day, I'm confident in the way that I secure, and my dad and I secure, our loads. We over-secure the crap out of everything. If the event so comes one day where I happen to wreck this truck, the last thing that I'm going to be concerned with is whether or not my load is secured enough to stay on the trailer, because that's our goal is and when we secure a load, we use the mindset of, if the worst possible situation comes, will this load stay on the trailer? And yes, it will. And I'll show you some basic guidelines onto what you need to properly secure a load. You need a general knowledge of your the state and federal laws on what it is that has to be secured and how pieces have to be secured. And the second most important and most often lacking is common sense. You know, how I secure a load, they load it on the trailer. First of all, when we first show up to the place and I'm looking at the piece, I'm already looking for securement options. You're looking for your tie-down points, you're looking at the structure and how strong it is, whether you can run a chain across it, or if it's something that's going to need straps. If it is going to need straps, is it going to have edge protection because it's sharp edges, or are they rounded so that you can use a strap without? Stuff like that, you know. So before they even load the piece, we're looking. Secondly, they load it, and the best way I can say is I just start securing. You go with your obvious points of securement first, and you secure it, and then from there you can start adding up what you have and seeing if you have enough numerical securement to satisfy the law or your own desires. So your basic guidelines, basically how securement works and how DOT views securement is friction and gravity account for 49% of your securement value. So what that generally means is the weight that the piece is putting on the trailer is 49% of what's going to keep that on the trailer. The friction between the deck and the piece and just gravity will keep 49% of the weight on the trailer. So you are required to secure for the remaining 51% of the piece's weight. So that being said, this piece weighs, now, okay, let's talk about weight. What they say is pretty much what your bill of lading says. Our bill of lading says this piece weighs 74,440 pounds. It actually weighs a little bit less, but that's the number we have to go off of, because when DOT pulls my paperwork and they start inspecting my load, that's the number they're going to go off of, because they don't know what we weigh empty, so they have no way of finding out what this piece weighs other than what that piece of paper says. So 74,440 pounds. I've already written all these numbers down. That means that we have to secure for 37,965 pounds. That is 51% of the weight. So 37,965 is the number of is the weight that we have to have securement for. Now, let's talk about our securement options. We use only 3/8 chains, and they're all grade 70. So that means each chain is rated at 6,600 pounds. All of our 4-inch straps that you'll see up here are rated at 5,400 pounds a piece. So we'll get into direct and indirect tie-downs as I give you a walk around, but that's generally where your numbers are going to come from. 6,600 pounds for a chain, 5,400 pounds for a strap, and then we'll get into where your halves go. Let's see, what else? That's it. So I guess I'll start walking around and I'll show you how we have this piece secured, and I'll tell you which chains get their full value and which chains get a derated value. And then we'll also talk about the gray area of cargo securement. Okay, I'm gonna make this very quick because it's starting to rain and I don't have the waterproof shell on my camera. So, securement, well, you don't need to see the wood. All right, so we have 2 direct tie downs back here. Direct go from one side of the trailer to a point on the load. That's it. They do not return to the trailer. I was telling you about the gray area of cargo securement. Now, the trailer manufacturer, I have spoken to them, they say 6,600 pounds is what our chain leads are rated for on this trailer. However, there are DOT officers out there, and more often than not, they will only give you 5,400 pounds for these. So that is what I use when I go off of these. I automatically assume that I'm getting the lowest possible rating. If they give me 6,600 pounds, great. I've already got, you know, but if I go ahead and use the lowest possible amount, then I know if they give me more, my securement is still adequate. So these 2 chains going across, because they're direct, you only get half the rating. So we'll say that these are rated for 5,400 pounds. That means that each one of these chains gets 2,700 pounds worth of securement. So between the 2, 5,400 pounds. And then we start moving down here. We have 5 indirect tie downs, which go from one side of the trailer through or across the load into, or to the other side of the trailer. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. So all of those get the full rating of 6,600 pounds because they all go directly to the rub rail, and the rub rail is rated for 6,600 pounds, and they will give you that. This being its own separate unit, and because it's actuated on hydraulics, and this looks like it's permanent because there's more hoses and switches and things in here than you find in a Home Depot, but this thing is actually detachable. You can see the hydraulic arm is pinned in there. So this falls into the kind of the heavy machinery side of securement, where if a wheeled or tracked vehicle that weighs over 10,000 pounds, you have to secure it a certain way. And you also have to secure independently any hydraulically operated apparatuses coming from that piece of equipment, and that is what our 2 straps are doing here. So this one's really dirty. This strap and that yellow strap right there, those are both 5,400 pounds a piece. And then we move to our final 2 points of securement on this load are these front ones, and these are arresting rearward movement. So under acceleration, rearward movement and frontward movement. So both of these are rated at 3,300. Well, the chains are rated at 6,600 pounds, but because they're direct tie downs, you only get 3,300 pounds per chain. So that one and that one equate to 6,600 pounds. We have 11 pieces of securement on this load, and at the lowest rating, so even going down to 5,400 pounds on these rear chain leads, we still have enough securement for just a little bit over 110,000 pounds on this piece. You know, we are of firm believers that your securement does you no good in your toolbox. So if you have it, use it. All right, there's no point in saying, well, good enough, because good enough isn't going to count if you go slamming into something and your load comes crashing through the truck, or worse, crashing off the trailer and hurting and killing somebody else. So when you're out there securing stuff, take the extra 10 minutes that it takes to throw a couple more chains on it or a couple more straps and be safe, because what we do out here, the stuff that we carry, it's dangerous. Even if you're just pulling a general flatbed, it's dangerous. If that stuff comes separated from the trailer and goes flying down the road, you are going to kill somebody. And that is why we secure as much as we do. You know, a lot of people would probably look at it and say, wow, that's way overkill, dude. But screw them. You know, I mean, they can say that all they want. They can go under secure their loads, and they can be the ones to go out there and kill somebody, because it's not going to be me. So yeah, that's about it. Like I said, you know, I get questions about this all the time, and that's why I wanted to come out and make this video. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that were cringing when I started this. And let me just add as a caveat to this whole thing, let me say that this is in no way, shape, or form meant to be a guide on how to do this. This is the way that we secure it. Some of the basic laws and just some things to watch out for. You know, there are a lot of gray areas in cargo securement, and it should not be such, but it is. You know, like the thing with the chain leads. Yes, the manufacturer says, hey, these are rated for 6,600 pounds a piece, but the DOT officers a lot of times say, well, that's a part of the aluminum deck. There's no way the aluminum deck is going to hold that weight, so we're only going to give you 5,400 pounds. So that's another reason to over secure, because if you are only secure, hold on. All right. If you're only securing for a certain amount of weight, and you know, if you're right on the threshold and a DOT officer comes in and cuts the rating on one of your chains, guess what? You're undersecured now. And you're not going to win that fight. You're not. At the end of the day, they're gonna write you that ticket. You're going to pay the securement fine, and you're going to end up having to throw that extra chain on there that you for some reason chose you didn't need. So hopefully that answered some of the questions for the people that were asking. I'm not going to show securement on every single load that we do, just because it would take forever. And a lot of the stuff we do is tarp. This one just happens not to be tarp, so that I could show you guys this stuff. So if you have any other questions, throw them in the comments down below, and I'll try and answer them. You know, I try and answer everybody that comments or asks a question. It might not be right away, but I promise I'll get to you. So yeah, you know, hopefully that helped. Thanks for watching.